Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Stitcher. My name is Megan. You can find me on Instagram as The Seattle Stitcher, or you can email me at theseattlestitcher@gmail.com. If you can't find me, all of my social media links will be in the down bar below, but as I say, you are all very, very welcome here. So I am just gonna hop right in. I'm not as organized as usual. Typically I've got like all my starts linked up together, but I might have a little bit of a mix mash in here, but let's just jump right in. So my first start over the past couple weeks was this pattern from MidSummer Stitch. MidSummer Stitch is a online digital retreat that's hosted by Stephanie over at Lindy Stitches. I really enjoy doing these digital retreats. It works great for my life just because I've got the two little ones and they are pretty dependent on me and my husband works a lot, so it's not like he can always take off a bunch of time for me to go to in-person to retreats, but it is nice that I can do these little retreats from home. So if you haven't heard of these kind of events, definitely go check out lindystitches.com. It shares some more information on the upcoming events. But I started this pattern, which is by Jed X Stitch. Jessica. I am going to link her Flosstube down below so you can take a look, but she's an amazing designer, actually local to me, which is awesome, and she just designs stuff that is so unique to her, and this pattern, Summer's Day, I just loved it. I did decide to switch up my fabric and flosses a bit though. So I am doing just a very close to the called for sort of conversion. Most of it is a color and cotton conversion, of course, what's new. And I'm not gonna list them off just because I am just pulling flosses that are absolutely as close to the called for as possible. So not much of a point of getting mine. Also, unfortunately, a couple of the colors that I pulled are special editions, so I don't know if you're able to still get your hands on those, but I did just pull colors that were, like I said, as close to the called for as possible. Lindy Stitches did have some kits for this, but I don't know if they're still available because this pattern was an exclusive for MidSummer Stitch, I do believe. I'm not sure when it's being released, but I'm sure that Jessica will let us know. So if you follow her on Instagram or follow her Flosstube, I'm sure you will catch that news when it's available. But I'm stitching mine on a 32 count Catacombs by Bestitch Me. This is a really fun fabric. It's like a teal blue with burgundy modeling, and I really, really loved it. And I really liked it with my floss colors. So I decided to go for it, but it is quite busy. Actually, so much so that my lighting right now is not really gonna show up. So I'm gonna pop a picture on the screen of my my progress. I got all of this done pretty much on Saturday of the MidSummer Stitch. I'm stitching it 2/2, like I said, so it's very nice full stitches, and I really do love it. I try to keep as close to those called for colors as possible, and I think it's looking pretty good, but I am a little bit worried that it's kind of like my floss and fabric are competing with each other, and I'm not sure which one is taking the cake right now. I really don't know. I might end up framing this in a really simple frame and putting it in my daughter's room because she wants her room to be painted pink, and so I think that I would like to go with, there's a decor style that's called electric, and you can like look it up on Pinterest if you're interested, but that electric style is kind of what I'm thinking for my daughter's room, because I think she can mature into that very well, and I think this pattern really works with that. Jessica over at Jed X Stitch also has another pattern coming out that's like inspired by her 8-year-old daughter, and I'm definitely gonna be picking up that one and stitching it probably on the same fabric maybe, so they can look like a pair that go together, and putting it in my daughter's room as well. So yeah, this one, I really loved it. I love the coverage overall. I love how it's looking. Like I said, I'm not sure I chose the best fabric. I mean, you guys have been so nice to me over on Instagram, leaving me lovely comments on my progress photo of this saying that you love the fabric, but I don't know. I'm so worried that it's not gonna pay off in the end because I'm not gonna get that quite like wow factor of the flosses because the fabric is really the kind of outstanding. So we'll see what ends up happening with this one. But like I said, I got, or maybe I didn't say, I got to like probably about 40% or so, and I decided to just go ahead and put this one away because my hands were hurting really bad by the time Sunday turned around, and I decided it was time to just give my hands a break. So I put it away, and I haven't pulled it back out since, but since I am so far on it, and that only took me like a day to stitch, I think that I could realistically get that done within the next week if I do pull it out and work on it. The next couple of things I have over here aren't starts, but I'll just go into some whips and then go back to the starts that I have in my basket here. But the next piece that I have, this is from that antique needlework library. I will link down below the list, like the little listing for this specific one. This pattern, the person behind that webpage did make a new modern digitized chart. So you'll see this is the cover photo of that. And they did give a modern DMC conversion for it. I will say with the preface of, because I've gotten quite a few questions about this antique needlework website, I am not the best with technology. So if you're having issues like navigating the webpage, I really don't have the best advice. My apologies. I'm just not very good at like troubleshooting when I'm not there in person. So unfortunately, if you're having a hard time with the website, my apologies, but I am enjoying it. I know that it's kind of a hard, weird forum where you have to go in and click on all the PDFs and look through a lot of things until maybe you find something that you specifically like, but I found a lot of good stuff on there, so I'm just sharing it, that's all. But this is one of the patterns that was digitized to a modern chart with modern DMC, and I am using that conversion. I'm stitching this 1/2 on 36 count cookie dough by Needle Bling Designs. I think that's what it's called, Needle Bling Designs. And I got some good progress since last time I showed you guys, actually. I forgot that I pulled this one out. I brought it to the pool with me for a few days, which is kind of silly because it's so many DMCs, but here is where I've gotten to. I just love this one. It is so fun. And you know what's funny is that at first I was like, oh, I don't know if that black actually works. Like that's way too stark of a contrast. But now looking at it, I'm like, no, actually it's perfect. Even like the white flowers, I was worried that they just weren't quite looking like flowers. It just kind of looked like a white blob. But now looking at it, I'm like, actually, no, you can tell there's a very soft change here in these ones in the backdrop being more muted. And then this center one just being more of the star of the show, shining through. But I think adding in that second flower there really showed me the piece, and I'm very happy with it. It's just so pretty. I love the way it's looking. So I'm really happy with this. I definitely want to get this one finished pretty soon here. I'm going to keep it in my basket and hopefully work on it in the next couple weeks. We'll see. I've got some grand plans, so who really knows, but it is going to be nice out. Hopefully we'll make it to the pool a few more times while we're here, and I think this one is going to be a fun finish. I'm not sure how I'm going to FFO this or when I will even get around to FFOing, which is crazy for me. Typically I'm someone who the second I finish something, I put it in a frame, I FFO it, I get it up and hung up, but since we're moving, as you can see by my very plain backdrop, but we're moving, and so I just don't think I'm going to be FFOing anything anytime soon, not until I have all my supplies back out and in front of me. But that's not going to take precedent over some other things. So anyway, love this. Isn't it just gorgeous? Definitely recommend that website. Sorry I'm not the best at helping y'all with navigating it, but I do really enjoy it myself. The next whip that I pulled out is this Erica Michaels pattern. This is a reproduction sampler called Emma Badman Wadeford, and I love this piece. I decided I'm just going to stitch the bottom. This chart actually comes with two charts, one of them being just the bottom and the other one being this full piece. I just felt like the charting up here, it wasn't really the standout portion of the whole pattern itself. I don't know, it just kind of like looks plain in comparison. So I decided to go ahead and just nix the quote. Like I said, she gives you that version anyways, and I'm just stitching the lower portion. I absolutely love this piece. It's so pretty and so fun. I love that the actual flower here looks like a quilt block or like some kind of quilt star or something. It's just so fun. And I am doing a conversion. It's a mix of like called for and conversion. So I don't actually have every color pulled for this one, so I'm not really making a list just yet since I don't have a full conversion just yet, but these are the colors that I am using so far. It's kind of a lot of primary colors, yellow, red, blue, green. And I'm stitching this 1/2 on 36 count Salt Ash, which is a Cedar River linen. It's a very nice linen. I do enjoy this color a lot. It's a very good neutral. Very, very subtle modeling. Very nice to work on. I'm enjoying it so far. It's also a really good size cut of fabric, I feel. But anyway. I don't have a picture of where I was before. I wish I did, but I didn't think to take a picture. I worked on this for a day. Friday night, the girls and I had a little like Zoom call, a little video call, and we were just chatting and hanging out, and I did a little bit of stitching on this. I knew that I was recharting the Emma Wadeford name to my own, so I went in here and I started doing that. So I think I already had Megan Taylor in here, but I put my last name in, and then I started the word worked, because it'll say like Megan Taylor Babauta worked in her year of, and then I'll have like my age and the year that I stitched this. So that's the full width though. And I don't think I have too much further down on the sides here until I hit the bottom. I haven't cut my fabric just yet though, because I'm not sure how long it's gonna be, because I did alter the upper portion of the pattern. Here on the second chart that she gives you that's just the bottom, she adds the alphabet here. And I went ahead and there was supposed to be a lowercase alphabet below it. I took it out just because I don't feel like that's the standout portion of this pattern. The standout portion is definitely gonna be what's beneath my name here, that bird and that beautiful flower pot and all that good stuff. So I went ahead and worked on this just a little bit because it had a very sad start. And it's a little bit more of like thinking power to like start charting your own name and stitching that in. So I knew that I should just, you know, get to cracking on that part. So I did, and now I've at least got my name in, and the rest I can follow to pattern, which is very nice. The next start that I had was randomly on Sunday night. After I signed off of MidSummer Stitch, I just had some like house chores to get done, and I sat down. My hands are hurting pretty bad, but I was like, you know what, I really want to start something. So I went through my stash of stuff and I picked out this Riolas kit. And then Monday night I started it. So this is based off of a Renoir painting, which is one of my favorite painters. I just think that this is a beautiful piece. I believe that Riolas has another painting that is also of a vase of flowers by the same artist. So I do think that that is something I will be looking at in the future. I just preferred this one over the other because this one has more golden tones, whereas the other is a little bit more cool toned, but I do appreciate and love both. I think this one's just beautiful. I really enjoy the Riolas kits. The only thing that I will say is a downside to them is the charting is very like full coverage, blocked colored cubes, and they're really hard to mark off. Unless you're gonna mark off with like a black Sharpie or a black ink pen of some kind, you can't really tell where you're highlighting because it doesn't really show up. So that's a downside to the actual charting itself. I think you can see how saturated they are. It helps to have the saturation of a chart be a little bit less, you know, like a 40% color saturation. So it's very light and you can easily mark over it. So I am struggling with that part a bit, just as I was with my previous Riolas kit that I mentioned in that kit like review video that I did quite some time ago now. But this kit is very unique in the sense as well that it comes with cotton flosses, and it also comes with their wool acrylic flosses. So I've never had a kit that mixed both of them. And you know what was funny is that the front pieces that you could see of the kit itself, here I have another spoolie here, this one and this one I think were at the front, like what I could see, and these are cotton. So I was thinking that the kit was a cotton kit, and no, these are wool. So I think you can tell because they're a little bit more fuzzy, particularly here. You can see the little fuzz coming off, but what a weird, I don't know why they mix the mediums here, but I haven't been minding it so far. I've already had to dabble into both, and I don't really notice a big difference between the 2 strands of the wool acrylic and the 3 strands of the cotton flosses. But yeah, very interesting, but I am enjoying the process so far, and it's just very fun colors, like a lot of golden reds, these beautiful green browns, and a couple more spoolies here as well. So love this. Very nice, I'm enjoying it, and I just have a very tiny little start, but I did do a center start as I do for most of my kits. The reason I do that with kits is that I'm not sure what they give for margins, so I try to get like a good center start going. And just have this in an 11 by 11 Q snap, and I'm using, of course, all of the like called for stuff that came in the kit. I didn't switch out anything because it is full coverage, so I don't mind using the Ada. Look at that. Isn't that so interesting? So there's a bunch of blends in here so far, and the blends have been the cotton threads, and then the wool so far has just been the 2 strands of wool. So yeah, love it. It's so bright, so pretty. Really like that. I think I am right here in this really bright kind of half hidden rose is the center, or just about center, right? So oh, it's so pretty. I would love for this to be in my craft home library room that I am dreaming of. So we'll see see how many years that takes. But I do think I'm going to be working on this for quite some time. I'm probably giving it some more dedicated stitching time here in the future, anytime that I'm stitching on the couch. I'm trying to like spend a little bit less time on my phone. So if you do shoot me a message, sorry if I don't get back to you super quick. I'm just trying to doom scroll less. I think I have like anxiety around the house buying and everything. So I'm trying to spend less time on my phone. We'll see how that goes. The next piece I have is a whip, and this is the Little Robin Designs Fanciful Sampler. I just love this piece. I think it's so fun and so cute, and it is so small. This is one that I definitely could see finishing this year. I just know that I've got a lot on my plate coming up, so I'm not really sure how much cross stitching I'll get done, but I do love this piece overall. I like the way it looks in this dark frame as well. I do think I'm gonna go with something very similar because I think this looks great. I'm hoping that mine ends up being a pretty standard size, but if not, I'll just order up a frame from Art to Frame. But I am doing a conversion from Stash. I'm not gonna list off my conversion, and the only reason I say that is because I am pulling colors that are identical to the called for. I just didn't want to buy anything. So some of them are the called for, and some of them are color and cottons, but it is a mix. Here are all of my colors, but as you can see, they're very, very close to all of the called for. If you have this one kitted up yourself, you can see very, very similar. I would just buy the called for so that you can probably find it all in one place sort of thing, but so pretty. I love this. So fun, so bright. Such a good color palette, and I'm stitching this on 40 count alabaster, which is just a plain old Zweigart fabric, and I absolutely love it. I'm stitching this 1/2, and I didn't do a crazy amount of work on this. Sorry it's so wrinkly. I was working on it at the pool, and I got this little pink bird here, this crown here. I did this bird. I started him down there. Love that one. And I can't remember if I did another bird at some point. I don't know, but I know I got at least those 3 motifs in, or 2.5 down there. But I love this piece. Just look at those colors. Look at how fun. So fun, so bright. But I also think that doing it in a dark frame really does help to kind of tone it down. And even the tree in the middle, I don't know, it's not too bright. It's not in your face bright. It's just so enjoyable, such a pretty stitch. I love the way that orange tree is looking. It's so pretty. And this little bug. I don't even know what this is supposed to be. I know it's obviously a bug, but what kind of bug is that? I love it. So yeah. I love the way my stitches look on this alabaster. I feel like it always makes my stitches look so nice and neat. I don't know, plain old Zweigart fabric, sometimes it just hits like no other. So I really do love this piece, and I would have loved to have gotten it finished this summer, but the summer just got away from me, man. I can't believe that it's already almost over. I mean, in the sense of like the school year starting, at least out here for me. It's right around the corner, guys. It's crazy. The next piece that I started was kind of a fail. I actually think that this might end up being something that I restart on a, what's that called? Lugana? I think I'm gonna go and buy like a navy blue Lugana. So I'm not really sure, but this is a Buttons and Beads Mill Hill kit. I've never done a Mill Hill kit, and I had this one in my stash from my aunt, Joanne, and I absolutely love this. It's perfect. It's totally my style. I would love to have this up during the holiday fall season. I feel like it's spooky, but not in your face spooky Halloween, so I love it. And I think I'm just not a big fan of the perforated paper. I don't think my stitches look very nice on it, but I also know that I'm using like 3 strands of DMC, so it's probably part of the reason. But here are all the called for flosses. I put them on this little plastic floss card from Amazon, and I think this came with these numbers, but I'm not quite sure. But regardless, I just have number stickers. I labeled the like color accordingly on the chart, and then put the matching number up here on the floss card. So that's how I've organized it. And I just kind of twist this around the card while I'm not stitching on it. And then of course I've got a little charm, which this is the original ceramic button, which is cool because I don't think they make these anymore. And then I've got a couple of bags of beads. Really pretty. But like I said, I don't think that this perforated paper is for me. So here's my very tiny little start. I just don't think my stitches look that good, but also at the same time, I think we are our own worst critics, and they really, like, you stitch the whole piece from far away, it's not gonna look bad. But I am just having a hard time even like looping the thread through on the back how I typically would finish off my thread and cut it. I feel like it's really bulky and it's like bending the paper in weird ways, and so I don't know. This might be one that I end up, like I said, restarting. Also, it's very confetti heavy and I just was not in the mood to work with that. I did not imagine that it was gonna be so, because I thought it was gonna be a super easy little chart. But because of all the confetti in it, there's like a ton of different grays and you're changing colors quite often. That's so many tail ends and it's just like really messy. Look at the back. I don't know. So many tail ends and I'm not really sure what or how to make that work. So it's kind of a fail for now. I really want the finished project though, so I am, like I said, gonna pick up a like navy blue Lugana at some point. The next piece was a start. I'm telling you, I was like all over the place. I don't know why. I think just because I was anxious, and I don't know, cross stitching just makes me feel better, I guess. So on that Antique Needlework library, there is a specific listing on there that is like an almost 400-page scanned in document that is all hand-drawn charts by one woman. And I forget her name, but I know it was a C and a G was her initials, because I found this chart and I was like, okay, well, I have to start that. And I did indeed start it ASAP, but I will say this chart is misleading because this chart is like 300 high by like 200 wide. It is huge. So it's gonna be like 19 by 11 or something like that. It's gonna be a big chart. So each square is 5 stitches and it's very small. It is a mirror image exactly down the center. So if you can bear through reading the chart on one side, you can just mirror your own stitches on the other. That helps a little bit. I'm not gonna say I recommend using this chart because it is so tricky to read and see, but I'm making it work. It's making do for me, but it was a free chart, so I really can't complain, you know what I mean? Like, this was just someone's hand-drawn chart and it is absolutely amazing. Look at that vase. Are you kidding me? Have you ever seen something so amazing? Because I haven't. I was just blown away by how cool this was. So I decided to start mine with some Gloriana floss that I have. I have like 4 or 5 skeins of this, so I hope I have enough. This is Gloriana in the colorway, oh, what is this one? Pacific Blue Dark. How pretty is that? You can really get a good depth for the color there. It is a very deep blue. It's just gorgeous. And the Glorianas have been a pleasure to work with. I really am enjoying these. And I'm stitching this 1/2 on 36 count spiced honey. And I'm gonna show you for comparison. I'm just at this upper portion. Look at how little, so tiny, right? And you're thinking, it's gonna be so tiny. No. Look at that is huge. That's huge. It is so cool though. Oh my goodness, how amazing. I actually put a poll on my Instagram if I should use like a Color and Cotton cream and sugar or if I should use this spiced honey. The poll ended up being almost 50-50 with a little bit more leaning towards the cream and sugar. I, in the end, decided to go with this one just because I felt like it was more me. It was a little bit more moody and darker and more vintage looking. How pretty is that though? Oh my goodness. The Glorianas are a pleasure to work with. An absolute pleasure. Yeah, just comparison wise. That little upper portion is this big. Oh my goodness, mistakes. It's gonna take me forever to get through this chart, but I mean, I did stitch this in just a couple of days and I don't know, I just randomly put it away. It's just a very simple monochromatic piece. I love it. I cannot wait to see what frame I end up finding for this piece in the end because it needs something special for sure. But gosh, these Glorianas, how pretty is that? The depth of color from the dark, ugh, beautiful. Just gorgeous. Really enjoying that. 1/2 again on 36 count. Lovely. So that is all my cross stitching. I do have a little bit of happy mail, so I'll show you guys that. This Happy Meal is from Cotton and Twine. I do think I have a coupon code for them, so I'll put it down below. But how cute is this? This was their July, I believe. Yeah, the July design. And I love this. I got the linen kit. Came with like a little treat, some like sour watermelon chews, I think. And you got the frame, the linen, the DMC threads, everything. Absolutely love this. I love this bee. I'm usually not much of a bee person, but I really like the wings. I don't know, something about them. I love the wings. So I might end up stitching the bee just by itself. I like it so much. So yeah, love that piece, and I'm excited to start that. I'm not sure when I will, maybe next summer. And yeah, it's just super cute. It, you know, comes with a little bag. You got all your goodies. You've got your linen, which this is a really nice piece of linen. It's very soft. And then as per usual, all of your DMCs on a nice like thick cardstock. You get your needle and then a couple of other little goodies. Plus, like I said, you got the frame with that piece as well. So I did really enjoy that box. So thank you so much to Cotton and Twine. I always appreciate you guys reaching out to me and sending me stuff. That's so sweet. But besides that, that is all of my whips and all my cross stitch stuff. I do have a knitting finish though, so let me grab that. Okay, so last time I filmed, I talked about this Pink Panther shawl from Ravelry, and Marjorie over at Marjorie Made, she started knitting on this, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna join you, we'll knit it together, and I got mine finished. I blocked it right away, and it's just a nice, shallow, but very long shawl. So I love this, very simple pattern, easy to follow, well written, very, very well written, especially for a free pattern. It's very stretchy because it's garter stitch, some really nice eyelet rows. So you got a little bit of a, you know, a textural element in the change between garter and the eyelets, but very nice. And I held a fingering weight yarn double to get gauge, but just super cute. I think I'm gonna wear this just tied up like that, and just keeps me nice and warm. I think too that my daughter could totally pull off wearing something like this because it's just very simple, you know? So yeah, I think between her and I, we'll both get some good use out of this in the winter time coming up. I would tell you the dyer, but they are no longer dyeing wool, and so unfortunately you can't get your hands on it, but it is just a beautiful color. Love that. I love speckled yarn. I'm not much of a variegated person, but the speckled, love it. So very pretty, love that. Super, super easy knit. I ended up like going through all my yarn and stuff as well. Maybe I'll throw that in. I don't know. I took some footage of it, but I don't know if I'm actually gonna put together a video. So anyways, I guess I'm just gonna move on into life stuff because I have gotten through all of my crafty things over the past couple weeks. So if that was all you stuck around for, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate it. Please do like, subscribe, or leave me a comment down below. It just helps other cross stitchers find me, just like you have. And I hope you guys have a good next couple of weeks. But if you do want to stick around for the life stuff, then thanks so much for listening, I guess. But as far as house stuff goes, so we are now in the final negotiation stages. I was really hoping we'd hear back today from them. The house that we are potentially buying, which we already put an offer in on, and like the offer was accepted and everything, but then we had to get, you know, our inspection done, and we're contingent on inspection. So we did have a few things that we wanted to be fixed, and we're waiting to hear back from them on what they're going to do or if they are going to fix them. The house though is owned by a bank and not a family themselves that are trying to sell and move. So that makes things a little bit of a slower process, which is totally fine. We're not in a rush, you know, we have plenty of time, but yeah, it just, you know, you want to know if you got the house or not. So essentially we're just waiting to hear back from them on what they say about the fixes, and if they say yes, we're gonna fix them, then we definitely are going through and we're, you know, this is it, we're signing papers and we're done doing the closing process. And if not, then I do think we're gonna back out because there's one major thing that is just too big of a fix that they've got to do something. And because it's a bank, I'm like, come on guys, you can afford it. So we'll see how that goes. Fingers crossed. Wish us well wishes because we love the home. We are hoping it all works out, but you never know. And there's other homes out there. So, you know, at the end of the day, my my dream house is still out there. I think that even when you buy a house, a lot of the time you still end up looking at other houses, you know? It's just kind of fun to peruse online and look and see what's out in your area. But yeah, we're kind of going through the last stages of that, so that's the biggest thing. This weekend coming up is my grandma's 80th birthday, so I am barbecuing for my grandma and my parents and everybody. And then I'm trying to think of what else we did. Amira had a play date with one of my husband's best friend's daughter. She came over and they had a little play date, and that was fun. We just went to the pool the last weekend before that, and then there was MidSummer Stitch, which was so much fun. Thank you so much if I happen to see you during the event. I stayed in like the Mill Hill Mountaineers group pretty much the entire weekend with the girls, and I feel like that must have been a good group to join because there wasn't really that many people, so it was really easy to just kind of have like casual conversation. No one really tried to, you know, like talk over each other or anything like that, because that's the only downside. It's hard because you don't know if someone else is going to start talking at the same time because it's a video, so then it's like you don't have as much social cues. But it was really fun, really enjoyable event, loved it. I picked up that Jet X stitch pattern. That's the only shopping that I did myself, but it was a great time. It was super fun, really a joy. But besides that, I really don't think there's anything else. We've just been keeping busy and enjoying the summertime, enjoying the sun as much as possible. And Amira as well, she loves the pool, loves swimming, so she had a dentist appointment this morning, and that's all finished up and done, and now we're home relaxing. And I am gonna go edit this video and then stitch some more. But that really is everything. Like I said, wish us luck, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. What am I saying? That's my rice cooker with color.